Tony, man.
I saw you at the front.
I know. Good to see you.
Yes.
Do you remember me from the time we did that long? Yeah, that's right.
I remember, yeah.
Excellent. I super appreciate you taking the time again. All right, it's 100.7 WZLX, Boston's only classic rock. Dave Lawrence covering Ozfest 99, and I happen to be so fortunate to be sitting next to perhaps the most important hard rock guitarist alive, Black Sabbath's Tony Iommi. How you doing, man?
I'm fine, thank you.
It's good to see you again.
Yeah, it's great to be back, actually, yeah.
It's been a while. I got to talk to you several times, including a long one a few years back.
Yes, you have.
Right here at this venue. So it's awesome to have a reunited Sabbath tour, especially, now that you've got everybody back in the band.
Yep.
And I was there. I went and I was lucky enough to be part of seeing you guys at Ozfest 97 when you did the 3/4 reunion, but I'm glad you guys turned the whole thing and made it all happen.
Oh, absolutely, yeah. It's been great, actually, having, the original four back. It really is. I mean, it's real good.
The show, I've already, I gotta confess, I seeing you guys in Massachusetts was not enough for me. I went down and saw you guys in Virginia and Philly, a couple shows. Any comments on those shows? Were those hot ones for you? Do you remember the Philly show at all?
I think they've all been pretty good, I mean, I think now, tonight for us I found it difficult tonight, but because I had a few monitor problems, but I think the band in general is sort of tightening up a lot better now. So it's been great. I mean, the whole tour, as it's going on, is getting better.
So, Tony, the hardest thing for me to accept about this tour is the Last Supper part of it. And as far as the ads go, they say this is it, and we're not going to see another tour. And I've seen you. I've been devoted to you, man. I've been going every single Sabbath tour since 1989, and I've caught a number of shows every time you've been out. And to hear that this is the last one, now, does that mean it's going to be the last one for any Sabbath lineup or for this original band? Fill me in on that.
Well, I don't know, really. It's hard for me because I've carried the flag for all these years, since first day, and so it's difficult to sort of say, and think about, is all finished or what? So I don't really know. I don't really know what's going to happen. We were sort of saying this is the final tour, but who knows? You can never say never, can you? We've done that before.
And here we are again.
Yeah.
And so another thing about this is, I keep thinking if this is going to be the last tour, then the Tony Iommi solo tour that everybody's been waiting for can't be far behind, because I know the solo album is in the works. And I've been going online, I'm a web savvy lad, and I love going on and checking out Iommi.com, which is your website, which has a lot of good information, but I thought we'd go right to the source. Tell me a little bit about the solo album that we can expect from you.
Well, it's got various amounts of people on it, different vocalists and whatnot. And we're still in the process of doing it. I'm having to stop while we do the tour, while we do the Sabbath tour, because the Sabbath tour has come first. So I've been trying to work around this, and so we're using different, of course, again, trying to get the different vocalists. You have to work around their time as well. So it's been difficult to put together, but it's up to now. It's been real good. I've enjoyed doing it, and the tracks. I think the tracks are real good.
What's the flavor going to be like on this? Is this going to be something that's a departure from the hard rock thing? I've heard names like Billy Corgan dropped into the mix, which lead me to believe that it may have something of a different flavor. Who are some of these folks, and what are some of the textures of the music? How is this going to be different from a Sabbath record?
Well, it's still a heavy album. There's a lot of heavy riffs in, and you can still see all the different changes and stuff within the each track. But with the different vocalists coming, it's give a different flavour, and it's sort of a different way of approaching things. It's been quite interesting. And when we done the track with Billy, it's quite a long track. It's about 8 minutes long. But there's all these different changes, and we actually done 2 tracks with Bill. But I'm not sure how many we're going to use as yet. And but it's been great. It's been really interesting doing it, and I think it's still going to be a heavy album. It's not going off away from that. It's basically based on riffs again.
Who are some of the vocalists?
Up to now, Billy Corgan and Phil Anselmo, Billy Idol, Ian Asprey, and Henry Rollins. There's a few others I won't mention yet, but I think it's quite,
Yeah, don't tell me everything. I'd like a couple of surprises.
There's certainly a couple of surprises, I can tell you.
So, Tony, all these guys, you just mentioned Phil from Pantera and, Billy Corgan, all these guys, you're always hearing them talk about how much of an influence you were on them. And I keep hearing all this stuff. And the thing I've been waiting to ask you, knowing that I was going to get to talk to you again, is I want to hear about some of the people who were influential to you. I want to go back. I want to hear just a couple of the people who were crucial to when you were first picking up the guitar. How old were you when you first picked up the guitar?
Probably about 14 or something like that. So that's 15 years ago.
I love your math.
My first band that I attached to was an instrumental band in England called The Shadows, which is probably like equivalent to your Ventures,
And you did a track on a tribute record not that long ago.
I did, yes. And they were I think they were role models for a lot of people from Pink Floyd and ourselves, and when I was in a band with Bill Ward before, we used to play like Shadows tunes, instrumentals, because they were one of the few instrumental bands at that time.
Are you talking about Mythology?
No, I'm afraid it's before that. The Rest, we were called The Rest, and because Bill and myself were together quite a while before Sabbath, and we used to play instrumental stuff, and the Shadows were our favourite band, at that time. But I went on to doing, liking jazz players and blues, particularly blues, a lot of blues stuff.
Okay, so we're moving into just where I wanted to be with you, guitar-wise, people. Jimi Hendrix, was he someone that was super important to you? Where did he fit into your sound?
Well, Jimmy was more at the same time, so he wasn't sort of somebody who you'd sort of follow, He was we were sort of, if you like, rivals at that time from the... there was Hendrix, and then there was Zeppelin, and then Deep Purple, and ourselves. So, I liked Hendrix, but I never sort of looked to Hendrix as an influence. Now I can listen to him. I didn't listen to him in them days. It was more probably Clapton in them days with John Mayall, and John Mayall was a big influence.
So did you ever, just for the record, because I always look at your distortion and the heavy sound, and I kind of personally have made the bridge to Hendrix only because prior to you, he was one of the only guys who really had that heavy distorted sound. So did you ever see him in concert?
I never did. No, I never did. I think Geezer went a couple of times, but I never actually went to see him. I didn't really go to concerts then, which I think is one way of developing your own sort of thing, because if you start seeing too many people, you start picking up too many ideas and too many things, and you end up picking bits of this and bits of that. And I tried really to steer away from that,
I always hear the name Django Reinhardt associated with you, but when I hear that name associated with you, it's always more a comparison because you both had an accident with your fingertips, and I never hear much more beyond that. So, and he had an accident, I think it was fire that hurt his hand?
Yeah, he lost his two fingers, but that's what got me back into playing was hearing that story, because I'd sort of thought, that's it, it's all over with. And some guy brought me this EP at that time and said, listen to this. I went, oh, no, I don't listen to it. I was real depressed and down. He said, just put it on. And I put it on. I went, oh, that's great. And he said, well, that guy's, he told me what happened. He had this accident. And I went, bloody hell. And it really gave me, some hope to start doing this again. So he was really inspired me a lot. Hell of a lot.
No, was he somebody that you listened to prior to that at all? No, so it was someone who you were turned on to after having the accident.
Absolutely, because I could really relate to him, by doing that. And then that was it. I just listened to him all the time.
What about Wes Montgomery?
Yeah, I listened to Wes Montgomery, but it wasn't sort of... Django Reinhardt was the major influence for me as far as, playing. I really idolised all the stuff he'd done,
Let me take a look at the hand real quick while I'm actually talking to you. Okay. Wow, there it is. That's the real deal, man.
Those two, you see.
Oh yeah, I can see, my man. I can see it large.
Yep.
That is it.
And they planted on the nail on that one again.
Oh, okay, I see. The nail was replanted.
Yep.
Wow, Tony Iommi's hands, the legendary hands. How about John McLaughlin?
No, I was never really into him that much either. It's it's a great player, but I was never. He was a bit too clever for me, I think.
McLaughlin was?
Yeah. He's a brilliant player, but a lot of those technical players went sort of above me. I liked the real natural blues sort of, feeling sort of players. Clapton came up with the real feel sort of thing at that time.
And where do you see you know, you're going to do a solo record. It's going to be, you said it's going to be a heavy album, so it's not going to be a radical departure from the things that you've already done. Are you going to plan on taking that out on the road, maybe having some musicians with you?
We've talked about it, maybe just doing a selected amount of shows. I'm not sure yet, really, When it's all done and ready to go, we'll see then.
Any timetable on that? Are you going to take some time off?
Time off? What's that now?
After the Sabbath thing, I mean, this has got to be, you're putting 110% in every night. I'm
actually working in between the Sabbath thing when we have a break in a few days. And then I'll go back in the studio again and do a bit more on my solo stuff. So I'm trying to get it done as quick as I can now to finish it off, and then, so I'm working around the Sabbath thing, but I want to get it out as soon as I can. Well, we'll be looking for it when it comes out. I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me again, and I look forward to talking to you again sometime. Thank you very much. Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath here at 100.7 WZLX, Boston's only classic rock. Hello, this is Tony Iommi from Black Sabbath, and you're listening to Dave Lawrence on 100.7 WZLX, Boston's only classic rock station. Thank goodness.